I'm writing it, bro. Shit, hopefully computer next month. So hopefully, yeah. It took me 10 years.
Yeah, no, computer for $100.
Nah, I need a good one though, bro. It's gonna cost money.
What?
You know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
But it has been a time.
All right, let me know when.
Guys, good. Good evening, folks. Bars and Hoops Radio presents another episode of AB Box News Podcast. I'm Antonio Baez with
Southpaw Mello.
and
The nose hunter.
there you go, guys. As we have another great week of boxing, and now we're hitting a pivotal point in this year. I think this is the beginning of great fights, guys. What do you guys think?
The ball's rolling. We got a lot of good fights coming up.
I think, yes. I mean, this card coming up this week is going. Next week coming up is going to be insane. Like, I'm not going to spoil it, man. We're going to go into it a little bit.
Definitely. So, guys, we're hitting Valentine's weekend, right? Let's say, well, let's round it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we got 3 big cards this week, and a lot of big fight news. Big news, actually, my opinion. So, as we break it down, this week we got one of the first fights. ESPN Top Rank, the return of Joe Smith, Long Island's own.
He's tough. He's sort of
Southpaw. What do you think?
Yeah, he's definitely tough. I mean, he got that win over Hopkins. He comes forward. He puts pressure. He's strong. He's a good fighter.
Definitely. So, guys, we have Joe Smith versus Maxim Vlasov, and this is for the vacant WBO lightweight title. So this is Joe Smith's second chance at a world title.
I think Joe Smith, man, and you know what I like about Joe Smith? Like I said, he's a puncher, but it's just his work ethic in the ring and his work ethic in life that shows in the ring. Like, he will make adjustments and really try to get you out of there. Like, he reminds me of like a smaller Tommy Morrison. He has that type of style where, like, he can box a little bit. He's got power. He is smart. Like I said, he fell short against Bivol. It happens. Bivol's not a pushover. He's got good combinations. I think Joe Smith can redeem himself, and I think he can still be in the top 4 up there. Marcus Brown's up there. Pascal's still in the talks. Even though Pascal's a veteran.
Right.
I think that he can really get in the mix in there with what's the big puncher?
Benavides.
Now that could be the dude he's fighting now. This dude's a puncher. Like, this dude is going to be a slugfest. You're going to see Joe Smith probably box a little bit more.
Definitely. Southpaw.
I agree. There's definitely going to be sparks flying that night, and somebody might get touched and get sat down.
Definitely. I think this fight is going 5 rounds. My personal opinion. The styles of fights, this is exactly one of them. Joe Smith goes forward. His opponent goes forward. Somebody's getting dropped. My opinion.
It's a fight for the fans, and it's a very good Valentine's Day gift for the fans because, like I said, this is what the fight fans want. A lot of times, we don't want 2 guys that just, counter punchers and just stand there and pose in the middle of the ring and maybe throw about 15 punches around. These guys are going to be throwing from the belt.
Definitely. I think it's a good fight for boxing, and I think Joe Smith fell short against Bivol a few years ago. I was there upstate. Nothing to be ashamed of,
No, of course not.
He just fell short, but now the ball's in his court. I think Joe Smith can go down in history for Long Island being a champion. Again.
Put Long Island
2
on the map. Let's go.
And he's a big light heavyweight too. You never know. The future may do a Usyk move and go to a cruiserweight. Maybe going towards the end of his career, maybe he'll take a trip to heavyweight. He is strong enough. I think his punching power will carry up. I think he's durable.
I think it's great. And actually, Bob Arum said over a week ago, he said that if Joe Smith is successful, we definitely see the matchup, Benavides and Joe Smith, June.
Oh, man, that's going to be crazy. That's going to be crazy.
Excuse me, June, July. That's what Bob Arum said in a meeting over a week ago, that because Benavides is going to be fighting I think end of March, April, he'll be fighting his fight that got canceled. So they both fight. We could see them early summer. Let's say late summer at worst.
So you give Joe Smith the edge.
I think for this Saturday, Joe Smith.
All right. So 5 rounds.
5 rounds.
Joe Smith's gonna put him away.
I think he's gonna do what he did to Alvarez. He will bully him in the beginning. Vlasov will come forward and be game, But as long as Joe Smith doesn't break his jaw, I think everything is well for him.
I think, with Joe Smith, I feel like he'll go focus more attacks on the body and slow him down. I do see like a 5th to 6th round stoppage.
Okay, great.
I think he'll hurt him to the body. I think he'll box a little bit more. I think a lot of people don't understand that Joe Smith can box a little bit. Like I said, I compared him to like a Tommy Morrison type. He's not like the most technical guy that can go on the back leg and really be effective in the back leg. But he can come forward, he can go lateral. I can see he's going to bounce a little bit on him. He's going to use his jab. I think if it's not a 5th round stoppage, it's going to go all the way, and it's just going to be a very, very UD for Joe Smith. I don't see this guy beating him.
Right. I see 3 things stick to my head and stick to my mind when I hear Joe Smith. Come forward, great condition, bully mentality.
Yep.
So those 3, that to me, that describes Joe Smith. He becomes victorious 5th round, 6th round stoppage. He takes care of business. Benavidez takes care of business. We see them in July, August.
Yeah.
Big showdown. And then it gets more interesting because I put a post up on Instagram over a week ago, and through the Facebook group chat, I put Benavidez and Canelo, and I think everything is leading up into next year. We're gonna see Canelo and Benavidez in the ring. I truly believe so.
That's a very dangerous fight for Canelo.
It is,
because remember, Canelo is maxed out at light heavyweight. He can't go higher. I can't see a 5'7" Canelo going up to cruiserweight and fighting guys 6'5" and going to heavy. I
thought he bit off more than he could chew with the Kovalev fight.
No, I don't think so. Remember, on the Anthony Yard for Kovalev, and Kovalev's coming right out of going right into another camp. He's a little worn. I'm not saying Kovalev he's not what he used to be. Okay, I think it was a good fight for Canelo. Benavidez is dangerous, but I do see Canelo. He just outbox him to a UD. I don't think he can knock out Benavidez. Benavidez is a different type of fighter. He's a different type of puncher. I think he's the guy that's going to take some to give some. And he's just going to be aggressive. Can Canelo use his legs and for 12 rounds? I don't know. That's for us to find out.
Right. I think we're looking way ahead. It's too ahead, but based off that post, great reaction. I must have got almost 100 people commenting about Benavidez can't lose. Canelo is the chosen one. He will be the first to knock out Benavidez. So actually, it's kind of split, to be honest with you.
Canelo can go to his body, I think. You go to his body, we'll see what he's really made of. He went to Triple G's body, and I seen Triple G kind of crouch and fold a little bit. Canelo's body punches. There's a reason why Kovalev's jab, he was just babying the jab. He didn't want to overcommit with the jab because those body shots really take a toll. We don't know how Benavidez would respond to body shots. Headshots, he'd probably be okay.
Right, but in the past, Benavidez has been down before.
Yeah.
And he was down against Johnson, I believe, 2 years ago. And I actually saw that footage during the week, and he can be touched in the body. So
exactly.
It's to be seen. But what's interesting is this. Would we see, let's say Joe Smith takes care of business. I'm picking him to win this Saturday. You guys?
Yeah, me too.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Would it be ironic that we see Canelo then want to fight Joe Smith all of a sudden?
No, I think it's a good chess move by Canelo. Getting Joe Smith, making a super fight. Joe Smith, getting momentum. I wouldn't overlook Joe Smith because Joe Smith is very strong. And he fight Canelo. He's going to be the taller man, even though most of the time he's a shorter 6 foot like heavyweight.
Right.
But he's still bigger than Canelo. So that could happen. But
he's still got to touch Canelo.
It depends on if Canelo sees holes, right? If
he
has holes in his fight. Let's say if it just comes like a good split decision or something like that. That's just my opinion.
Right. I think it'll be a must see fight. What happened this year? I don't know, honestly. I think the way the boxing is going, these guys are running. Fighters the days of ducking are coming to an end. That I've said many times already. Right. I think it's coming to an end, and I think guys are going to have to fight each other, and they might not be happy about the money, but guess what? Take the money or stay on the show.
Go for the legacy.
Let's think about it like this, and we got to look at the past of boxing. When you talk about the money. Look at the past eras of boxing when the money was a lot less. You were having fighters back in the day fighting for $30,000 and made a in different eras.
Of course, definitely.
So, are you crying about getting $2 million instead of getting $4 million? I think some fighters I do feel that are not even world champions are getting millions of dollars. They didn't even get their first world title yet. So I think a lot of people are being very spoiled.
Well, we got a lot of great news about that subject
Okay.
a little later on. But I want to get to the co-main event of Top Rank ESPN. So this week I was able to go down in Port Washington, and I was with Coach Rozier and I was with Alex Vargas as he was training in his preparation for his fight next Saturday in Orlando, Florida. But as I was entering, who was leaving? Richard Comey. So
Nice.
Richard Comey was on his way out, cutting down those last few pounds before he takes his flight to Florida, which was Tuesday. So I was lucky enough to catch him on Tuesday, which he flew out Wednesday. So I was able to interview Richard Comey. It's on AB Box News YouTube channel. And long story short, Richard Comey had to say that, he's been out the ring long enough. He feels good, that he won't let this opportunity slip away from him, and that he needs to win this fight to get back in the title mix. And the way that it sounds, and I was able to talk to Coach Rozier about it too, it seems like he had a great camp and he's ready to take care of business against Jackson Mariñez. And people that live under a rock, Jackson Mariñez fought Rolly Romero a few months ago, last year, and a lot of people thought he won the fight. And Richard Comey actually said in the interview that he thought that Jackson had won the fight. But he said what's done is done. That's how it is in boxing sometimes. And he has to take care of business Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, Comey's a great fighter. I think us, the fans can't overlook a guys like, okay, some people fall short. Sometimes it's not some guy's night. Richard Comey is a hell of a fighter. He's a very technical fighter. He's got good hand speed, good power, good balance. This is why I'm liking where boxing's going right now. Boxing is getting very, very competitive. A lot of fighters are going to start taking losses.
Yeah.
I think.
I mean, he was a champion for a reason.
Exactly. You can't just be a world champion if you're not good. I mean, unless you fight for a vacated belt, but that wasn't a vacated belt. He earned his spot where he's at.
Right, and he was underdog against Beltran. Beltran actually was the favorite in that fight.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people were shocked.
Yeah.
I was shocked the way that he won. I thought that it would go to distance. The way that he made Ray Beltran basically, quit.
Yeah, I mean, you got to understand, Comey comes with a lot of skill. He comes with a lot of counterpunchability. He can be aggressive when he wants to. He can be technical and slick when he wants to. Like I said, the boxing is getting very, very heated, and we've seen this thing across all weight classes, man. The best got to fight the best now.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, Lopez and Comey, they threw the same exact shot at the same exact time. And Lopez just put his head out of the center line a little more than he did. I mean, that shot could have went either way. I mean, Comey could have just landed that same shot too.
Lopez.
Yeah.
Right. We don't, boxing is a matter of inches, just right place, right shot at the right time.
Exactly.
And I think this is a great fight. Actually, this could steal the show, actually, Comey and Mariñez. I have this fight being, I'm leaning a little towards Comey. I'm expecting Comey to outbox him, but I wouldn't be surprised this fight goes the distance. And remember, the key thing with this fight is only 10 rounds. So I think we're going to see great effort with these guys fighting. I think we could see a potential fight of the year, I think. So I'm going to wish Richard Comey the best. Great guy, very humble, and he fights for his country.
He's still elite. Like I said earlier, don't take a guy's shortcomings and then write him off as not being elite. He's still elite. He's still one of the top pound for pound guys in that weight division.
Right, definitely.
Well, the common motif that we always bring up every week is we need to stop worrying about people's losses and ruling them out after one loss or something. We need to, people can still come back and still have great careers.
Definitely.
I think MMA has rubbed off on the world of boxing because now people are forgetting about the 0 losses. We don't need padded records anymore. Guy just being 0. Now it's not looking impressive anymore. We can look at a guy like Vasily Lomachenko who has 2 losses now and say, like, you know what? This man is still a technician.
Mm-hmm.
Right. We got more news about Lomachenko in a short time. But guys, that's one card on Saturday, ESPN Top Rank. We also have on the zone. We have a UK card. And we have the return of Josh Warrington.
Wow.
So Josh Warrington faces Mauricio Lara in a 10-round featherweight showdown. People who don't know, Josh Warrington vacated his belt not too long ago. So he looks to rebuild himself up and just fighting a better division, in his opinion, and get in the title mix again.
It makes sense.
Right. So a lot of people thought he was ducking a couple people. And honestly about that, everybody's gonna feel a certain way. Oh, he avoided this, he avoided that. How many times in boxing have guys said, "Oh, Floyd fought Pacquiao 3 years too late," and such and such.
That the logic behind, you gotta understand, it's fan logic,
Right.
and the fan logic is like, oh, this fight is ducking this fighter when this dude could have took a fight for a better economic opportunity. It could have been the right time. It could have been for marketing. People understand it's a business at the end of the day. You want to make the right business decisions for your career. It's not just you. It's your promoter. It's your team that make the decisions with you. You can't just say, well, I'll fight him right now. And your team says, no, wait a minute. Don't take that because this may not be on the table. So this whole ducking has been used a little bit too much in the past couple of years in boxing, and people just say everything about Canelo's ducking Triple G. Well, why? Maybe they both don't want to fight each other at a certain time because the money's not there.
Exactly.
Right. I think people underestimate the politics of boxing, and I've always said this, and a lot of people have been angry at me. Actually, they would say, "Oh, you know nothing," and the fight could be made easy, but no, it doesn't work like that.
Like there's a guy sitting there with a checkbook and be like, all right, go ahead and fight. Here's $98 million.
Right.
Exactly.
No,
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, about a month ago, Eddie Hearn had said something that I agreed with him. About Ryan and Tank Davis fighting each other. And Eddie Hearn made a great point. He said, Ryan Garcia has a signed deal with Golden Boy, and Tank has a signed deal with Showtime Fox. So two different networks. These guys to fight on someone else's network, there's a lot of money that has to be switched up.
There's a lot of roundtable talks too. A lot of executives of two different companies that have to sit down together and be like, okay, well, with this network going on, who's going to take the biggest split? See, the thing about it is, it's bigger than fighters. Fighters want to fight each other. There's so many fighters that are like, I got a dream to fight this dude. Don't you think that Tank and Lomachenko want to fight each other? Sure, they both want to fight each other. But you got Bob Arum, you got Al Heyman, and you got two different networks they fight on: ESPN and Fox now. How is ESPN and Fox ever going to do anything?
Well, I got more news on that in a little bit. Very interesting news. But guys, as we get to the co-main event of the Zone in the UK, we have Leo Wood versus Reese Mold, and this is a 12-round fight for the vacant British featherweight title. So that's actually a sleeper fight, I call it. I think people are not paying attention to the fight, but actually this could set up bigger fights later down the road, and more I would say challenging fights. So be on the lookout for that. That's another card. And lastly, of course, another The Zone card in California, the return of Joseph Jojo Diaz.
Oh, that's dope.
I like Jojo Diaz.
Great guy.
Before Tevin Farmer.
Yeah, that was a great fight.
Yeah.
Right. And then that's a pending rematch. That's a whole nother situation too, that I actually see these guys getting in the ring by the end of the year.
Let me ask you about with that fight, right? Was there anything medically wrong with Tevin Farmer? Was he hurt?
No.
Because he was how he was behaving in the ring, like he was looking up, like his eyes, he looked like he was hurt or something was going on.
I saw the fight. I thought he was just I do get what you're saying, and you're not the only one who said that. People thought something was wrong.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was his hand because he had got shot a couple years ago.
Maybe it was an injury.
But I just overall, Farmer's a good guy. I saw the fight that he just had an off day, and I think in boxing that's okay.
I think he was just off.
So we got an IG question right here.
Go ahead.
It says Diaz is a banger. Does Tevin stand a chance in a rematch?
Yeah, he does.
Of course. I mean, I think the way that Tevin Farmer has grown as a fighter, and he's more of a defensive guy. He's not going to knock you out.
Very slick.
Right, slick.
Yeah, he's not punching.
Pernell Whitaker style.
Right, he's not going to knock you out. But in a rematch, to answer your IG live question, I would say, why not? I mean, he's beat some good guys in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
I think everybody in the ring has a chance. I know people might think I'm crazy for that, but
I think he fought JoJo's fight. I think he stood in the pocket too long.
Right.
I think Farmer was just off. I think Farmer probably was drained. I think he was feeling lethargic. Maybe he had a headache. I mean, you don't know what fighters feel. Maybe he didn't rehydrate properly. I think he will move his legs a little bit more with Jojo Diaz. I think he can shut him out if he really, really pushed for it.
Well, they're saying that he might have hurt his right hand early in the second. But, I mean, who knows? I mean, it's possible.
It could be true. I mean, just a few weeks ago, Caleb Plant hurt his hand in the third round. You saw his muscle. You saw his hand. His hand was swollen.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, my man Gaddy, is broke his hand in the third round against Ward and still won that fight. But
Right.
Different type.
Well, I mean, we can.
Uh,
You brought up a good point. That goes to Roy Jones when he had a motorcycle accident a week into before the fight, and he fought with one hand, literally.
mhm.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys remember that. Yeah, he fought literally with one hand. I was wondering why is Roy not throwing combinations? And after the fight, he said, "I broke my hand in a motorcycle accident."
He broke his right hand.
Right,
Yeah,
and he
his
didn't
jab.
tell nobody because they would have called the fight.
Yeah.
So long story short, it's going to be a good fight. Jojo Diaz fights. Let's see. He fights. I can't even pronounce his last name. Rakimov.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
Rakimov.
There it is. He's
Yeah.
pronounced it better than me. So that'll be 12 rounds for Diaz's IBF junior lightweight title. Obviously, I haven't seen enough of his opponent, and I've seen Jojo Diaz in the ring with what great fighters as Farmer and Gary Russell Jr., which has nothing to be ashamed of losing to Gary Russell. So actually, of course, right now I have the favorite as Jojo Diaz. You guys?
Definitely Jojo Diaz. He's such a tough, rugged fighter. I mean, he proved a lot of people wrong against Tevin Farmer. I know a lot of people were saying Farmer was going to win that.
Nose Hunter?
I don't know. I can't predict it.
You think it goes the distance, possibly? Or
Yeah, 12. I think it go 12.
Yeah, I think it goes the
I don't see
distance.
nobody's gonna get knocked out. It can be a UD either way. I think maybe like a 116, 112.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good fight. I favor Jojo Diaz to win the fight, but in the co-main event, actually a lot is on the line right here because Patrick Chisera fights Brian Castano, 12 rounds for Chisera's WBO middleweight title. And the reason why this is important because this win right here sets up a potential fight for Mr. Charlo at 154 later down the year. So as far as Castano had said this week during fight week that there was a mistake as far as the WBO and how they ranked him and he has to make it right by winning this fight. And Castano's undefeated, and Chisera had one defeat years ago. So I think this fight is going to be a knockout in my opinion.
They're going for Charlo. They want Charlo.
Two guys that come forward, a lot on the line, money's on the line right here. Charlo
Titles on the line.
Titles on the line.
Yeah.
Castano's undefeated, and Chisera has one loss, and that was years ago. And I was able to talk to Roger Romo, who's a strength and conditioning coach.
Yeah.
And although Castano's there, the target is Charlo. So he's looking at potentially getting him before the year ends. So both guys have a lot to gain and a lot to lose come Saturday night. So a lot is on the line.
A high stakes fight for both.
Yes.
Definitely high stakes.
Right. And also on that card, I wanted to bring up, I brought up over a week ago, Jason Quigley versus Shane Mosley Jr.
Oh, yeah.
And that's going to be good.
I haven't seen Shane Mosley Jr. in a while, man. He was good in the contender and all that.
He fought my friend Devon Lee.
Right. And he had lost in the championship in the contender. That was the last time we saw him, actually. So this fight is, as far as Jason Quigley, has one loss, but this fight, it really has the making of, it's a sleeper fight people are not talking about enough. But I think both guys have a lot on the line right here.
Yeah.
This is a fight. This is a turning of their career fight where the winner gets back in the mix and the loser has to reconsider what the future holds for them.
Do you think maybe Shane Mosley Jr. might be does he think he's still hungry after that layoff? It's a big layoff. It's a couple of years.
Well, AB Boxing News' Gustavo Neri was able to interview Shane Mosley over a week ago, and based off the interview, Shane said that he, obviously with the pandemic, he was able to refresh himself. So it really comes down to, to me, when these guys haven't fought for a long time, is the ring rust really going to show, or the layoff benefit people? And I think sometimes it does benefit people.
Some people train during the layoff. Some people train more serious. They eat better. Like I said, there's many factors behind it. Some people look like they never lost a step.
Yes, definitely. So I think that's a fight people are not talking about. And guys, that really breaks down this weekend's fights. So we got Top Rank ESPN, main event, the return to Long Island's only Joe Smith versus Maxim Vlasov. Then we also have on the Zone, UK, Josh Warrington makes his return. And then we have Golden Boy on the Zone. We have the return of Jojo Diaz.
Nice.
So we got, I think, fight fans, like I've been saying, boxing is heating up. And we're gonna get a great weekend of fights, guys.
Definitely. Can't wait.
Definitely.
Box
So
is back, things are opening back up.
right. So as we've been hearing through New York, because obviously we're from Long Island, New York, that we're hearing that venues are going to start opening up 10%,
10% capacity.
Right. So Barclays going to be opening, I think, in a few days.
That means ticket sales, ticket prices are going to be through the roof.
Well, Nassau Coliseum, I think they had like a switch over with the contracts or something like that. So
yeah, well,
who knows what's going to happen with that?
Right. We don't know what's going on with that, but also they have that stadium being built for the Islanders.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
right.
yeah.
Right. And
that might be a way to bring money
exactly
into a fresh venue.
Right. And as we just seen the Tampa Bay Buccaneers win the Super Bowl, we saw The Weeknd perform at the halftime show.
Yeah.
He's actually going to make his debut at the new stadium in April. Unless it gets pushed back, we will see him there. So definitely everybody check it out and stay tuned. And guys, those are the 3 fights for the weekend. Great news. Congratulate the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for winning. Tom Brady.
Exactly.
The GOAT of my business. In my opinion, excuse me. But my opinion. But guys, now we're gonna get the fight news. We got a lot of news. So first, the breaking news today was Fox and PBC to end contract early. That's big news. So Nose Hunter, you had hinted before, and I didn't want to mention it until we finished. Right. So basically, Fox and PBC had a contract for 4 years, and I believe they're on year 3 right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think because of poor ratings from multiple sources that the contract will end early. And the key question is why and when will it end?
You know why.
Oh, tell me why, Nose Hunter. I'll tell you why. Let me hear what you say.
I mean, look, I have my own opinion about the staple of fighters from BBC. Fighting once a year, you can't get good ratings when you're fighting. None of your top fighters really fight when you're fighting once a year. When your undercards are okay, I'm just saying. I'm speaking as a fan. I'm not speaking as someone that's it's a definite, truth to it. I'm just saying for how I feel as a viewer and a fan. Like I said, I'm still sold on Top Rank. Top Rank got ESPN. They haven't changed. PBC hasn't made any adjustments for their rankings. They're getting beat by Bellator. They're getting better ratings from Bellator. That's not, and I'm not no disrespect to Bellator, but we expect a little bit more from PBC. We have, premier boxing champions. We have top fighters that are fighting on regular TV. I like PBC.
Yeah.
PBC, it was a great thing for boxing. It brought an old school element back where it's like, you know what, we don't need to have top fighters on pay-per-view all the time. Let's give the fans something where they don't have to pay for, because we got the zone subscriptions, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
We have ESPN Plus where you have to pay for it.
Right.
Now, you know what? Let's go to regular TV. I think it was a smart move, but I think that maybe their marketing team could have did a little bit better of marketing. We don't see a lot of PBC ads. We see billboards. We see bus ads. We see a little bit there, but for someone as big as that, they need a little bit more marketing, and their fighters need to be more active.
All right.
Definitely.
So management of the fighters, you think is the situation there?
Absolutely.
In theory, it sounds good, but PBC.
You're not putting on enough. You're not putting a big enough cards on. The fighters need to fight more.
It makes sense.
Well, I hear you guys. What's interesting is this, though, because at the time that this is happening, actually, Caleb Plant versus Caleb Truax fought. The ratings were actually pretty good. One of the highest it had in over a year.
Yeah.
So to me, I would say, where is this coming from?
It's up and down. The ratings are up and down. So you might have one good week, but then you get another couple of weeks where it's like, okay, now what? What they probably don't see any future projections from PBC. It's like, okay, well, what's the future cards that you guys get to bring that's going to bring ratings? Look, Plant versus Truax is a good fight because Plant made the fight exciting. I'm the nose hunter, and he was touching Truax's nose a whole lot. He was bleeding everything. It's a very fan-friendly fight. We saw a lot of offense. Plant wasn't very defensive like he was. He was very offensive. He was using a lot of punches. He was throwing a lot of combinations. It started getting a little bloody. That's what fans want, and that's what the ratings was up. Plant made those ratings.
Definitely. I think it's a tough question. For me, it's was this was the breakup going to happen before there was signs and just it was kept in house. And now the question is this: when is the split official, and when do we see the last fight card on Fox?
I just want to know what's next for PBC in general.
Right.
Do they have another network line?
Right. Well, that's a great question. That's a great question you asked actually, because the real thing is this: if they split with Fox, where's PBC airing then?
Yeah. I mean, how much did COVID affect them too?
Remember, FS1 is connected with this Fox deal.
Yeah.
So they will have, and actually they have a card in a few days on FS1. So it's kind of, I really don't know. I need more news right now. You know, obviously we will give everybody updates when we have.
NBC.
Just not sure.
Yeah, that I guess, like I said, that's all boardroom stuff. That's stuff that they have to talk about
Right.
with all the networks and big execs.
Right, and you know, behind closed doors, I can see this deal already being. They have a target day of a split, and probably an announcement coming. What network would take over? You know, could we see them on Channel 11? Could we see them?
Channel 11 would be great.
Could we see them on TBS? You know, it's a lot of factors. You know, even
Channel 11 would be a great thing. We've never seen boxing on Channel 11 on WPIX.
Yeah,
it's been a long time. It's been on, but it's been a very long time.
Yeah.
But it's interesting, guys. You know, as for me, I think it's kind of, for me personally, I think it's unfortunate that you know they couldn't finish the contract at least. It just shows that maybe the investors are not happy and they're pulling out. You know, since they're pulling out of the deal, what's next for PBC? You know, are we just going to only see pay-per-view cards?
maybe Fox is trying to pull a Canelo.
Maybe
Pull out, end the contract, and then renegotiate a new contract per fight, or you know, who knows?
Right. I think it's a lot. It's very interesting. You know, obviously we need more news on this, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see our last fight card on Fox, you know, just the summer, and then September starts something new. Maybe. So, you know, we'll see what happens. But as we jump into the next subject, Manny Pacquiao, it looks like he is returning very soon. So the news is Manny Pacquiao has put an announcement, put on his social media that he's starting training camp. And he looks to fight with an announcement in the coming weeks. So who's ready for the return of Manny Pacquiao?
I'm not.
I am. I like Manny Pacquiao.
Exciting fighter.
Even though he's still a great fighter.
Well, he has the belt. His belt was vacated, of course, right?
Well, he was in. Well, they demoted him
recess, right? Yeah,
to recess, but he's fighting already. So we got some interesting news. So it's not official, but the rumor is the leading candidate to fight Manny Pacquiao is no other than Mexican Mikey Garcia.
I heard that rumor.
Right. So Southpaw, what do you think about that potential fight? Pac-Man, Mikey Garcia.
It's a good fight.
It's a good fight. I think, you know, Mikey Garcia got really good textbook style boxing. He got a good jab. He keeps his hands up all the time. You know, he's not really reckless with his boxing.
He doesn't get cute. He's just very basic.
Yeah, Mikey Garcia is used to, Pacquiao is used to fighting bigger guys. You know, Mikey Garcia is kind of small. So, you know, he might have the power to deal with Mikey.
Has Mikey mentally recovered from the Spence loss?
Right.
That's true too.
I mean, we're gonna see. I think it's a solid matchup. I wouldn't say great, but you know, I think it's gonna be on pay-per-view. Now the question is, what network is this gonna air on?
Ooh.
Probably Showtime.
Yeah, so I'm thinking Showtime.
I think the sleeper is the Zone will air this fight. I think it could happen. I think we got more news on the Zone actually coming up because technically Manny Pacquiao is a free agent. He can technically fight on any network. And we see Mikey already fight on the Zone over a year ago against Jesse Vargas in a great battle.
I mean, you know, like I said, on the Zone would be a great big up to have Pacquiao. Pacquiao never fought on the Zone.
Right.
I mean, as an independent agent and they do a one fight deal on the Zone, that could be something that's really, really great.
Right. And I can see it happening because Mr. Eddie Hearn opens up his big checkbook. And I've noticed Eddie Hearn, he'll overpay, but I think Eddie sees, he is aware that sometimes overpaying does hurt him.
Yeah.
You know, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do, you know?
It has long-term benefits.
Right, long-term benefits.
Like I said, if he didn't overpay, you wouldn't still have Anthony Joshua.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, sometimes you got to take risk, right? High risk, high reward, right?
Yeah, exactly. PBC got some issues right now, so I don't know if they might have the lower end of the money coming out for Pac-Man. He's gonna go where the money is.
They have good money, but they're not active. So Hearns is saying, I'm gonna give you a big payday, but you're gonna get active. Like look at what he did with Tevin Farmer. He's brought Tevin Farmer a whole nother type of person.
Yeah. I think Eddie Hearn being able to sign Tevin Farmer really rejuvenated Tevin Farmer's career. You know, I think Tevin has had the benefit of that. You know, besides his loss to JoJo, to me, yeah, a great comeback story. You
Mhm.
know, guy that took a couple losses, wasn't active, came back,
got shot.
Started boxing late.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, great story as far as Tevin Farmer. Actually,
It's a Rocky story.
Yeah.
right. Yeah, it's a Rocky story. Yeah, we should definitely try to get him on the AB Box News podcast in the late future.
Definitely.
Definitely.
We got to reach out to him.
Right. So definitely, Pacquiao, I think, if he fights Mikey Garcia, I think it's going to be a great fight. I think they're both small guys, so actually it helps Mikey. Mikey could actually, I think the way the Pacquiao goes forward, Mikey could catch him, in my opinion.
I think he's very good at doing that.
Yeah.
You know, did he? But like I said, he's a good counter puncher. He got decent movement. I don't think they both got the best footwork, but I think with Pacquiao lunging forward his head, it could be an exciting fight because the fans gonna be because Pacquiao will take some to give some. Like Pacquiao's be off balance. It will catch he will take a shot and then try to explode forward again. And then it'll be a brawl.
Pacquiao throws a million punches.
Yeah.
And he takes those little steps as he punches.
Right.
And so he gets a lot of power from his legs, and those punches, his calves are like freaking.
Problem is that he misses. He's don't got the most accuracy.
Mhm.
So a guy like Mikey Garcia is a good counter puncher. He capitalized on a guy missing like that. Even when Pacquiao fought Bradley, I honestly the first fight he was missing so many punches and getting caught with a basic jab every time there was an exchange.
I thought Tim Bradley had one. A lot of people. I get harsh comments over this. I thought that Tim Bradley had a great comeback in that second half of the fight, and that's why he got the nod. And a lot of people felt very,
Well, guess what?
disagree.
If he was getting hit that much, he wasn't bruised up, and he had a broken leg. So you can't knock down a guy with a broken leg. That means you wasn't hitting him.
Right. I mean, like I said, Pacquiao, Mikey Garcia, great showdown. Where will it air? Pay-per-view for Showtime or maybe the Zone.
I think it'll be the Zone. I don't think it's big enough for pay-per-view. I think it'll lose money trying to make it a pay-per-view.
We'll see what happens. But guys, as we go to the next subject, like I said, great matchup, potential matchup, Pacquiao, Mikey Garcia. Now we're gonna bring up the Matrix. Top Rank, ESPN. Now we got some interesting news. So Bob Arum has spoke about this potential fight, Lomachenko and Nakatini. And guys, right here, fireworks, potential fight of the year, in my opinion. Those who don't know Nakatini, he had one of the best comebacks in a fight I've seen in a while.
Yeah.
And he defeated your boy, Southpaw.
Felix Verdejo.
Yep.
That was Felix Verdejo was winning that fight, man.
Right.
He dropped him twice and then he
early.
came back. That guy's a true comeback kid right there.
Right. And like I said, probably the comeback fight of the year for Nakatini. And in the past, he gave a hard battle to Teofimo Lopez. And we saw Teofimo not at his sharpest that night.
Mm-hmm.
So that looks like a matchup that Bob has spoke about making for the summer. So we could see a potential June matchup, Lomachenko versus Nakatini.
That's a good fight because Nakatini is a fighter that he basically just comes. He takes a lot of punches, but he has good combinations though. I think his jab, he has a strong jab. I think Lomachenko does struggle with guys that lanky and throw a lot of punches. We've seen him with Pedraza. We even see with Lopez, who has a little bit slightly longer reach to him, but tall guys like Pedraza kind of give him trouble with the jab. Like the last I just feel that Nakatini can make it a brawl and they both can hurt each other.
Right. I think this fight, like I said, potential fight of the year. I think boxing is going to heat up in the summer. I think we're going to see May, June, July, back-to-back months. Back-to-back great fights. Bob Arum has said this fight looks to be scheduled for June.
Well, let's see. Nakatani's probably going to see. He's going to see the Matrix is flawed from his last loss, so he's probably going to come in there with a little more confidence.
Definitely.
I think he can keep up with Lomachenko. I think he has a decent enough movement to keep up with him. I think his jab will make things. I think his body attacks. He's Nakatani type of guy, and Lomachenko's not the biggest puncher. So a guy like Nakatani will take some to give some, and he'll just make it a dog fight. If Lomachenko doesn't look good, I do see them questioning commentators if he's considering retirement.
Interesting question. I think Nakatini, there's three things that stand out with him. Great condition, comes forward, Heart of a champion.
Definitely resilient.
So
Yes.
resilient, definitely. I think this fight, fireworks written all over it. In my opinion, my early prediction, Lomachenko has to get Nakatini out early. That's where he's a slow starter. But if this goes in the late rounds, I see Nakatini knocking out Lomachenko.
He can do it. I think he can hurt him. I think Nakatini has a good enough chin. If Lomachenko stops him, that raises Lomachenko's stock all the way back up again because this is a guy that he's not been knocked out before. Nakatini's never been knocked out. So for be the first to knock him out, he's going to call out Lopez. He's going to try to get a rematch with Lopez. I think it gives him momentum on Top Rank.
Definitely. I mean, Bob Arum says this looks like a June bout. And as we see what ESPN and Top Rank, they just announced not too long ago, we have the May 8th showdown between Josh Taylor and Jose Ramirez.
Well, that's going to be good.
So that we're a week away from potentially one of the best fights, in my opinion, Burchell versus Valdez, which will break down more next week. But that fight, fireworks written all over it. And then we're going to see, May, we're going to see Taylor versus Ramirez. Fireworks, in my opinion, again. And then potentially the next month, we see Lomachenko and Nakatini.
Yeah.
Right, and Nakatini. So I think Top Rank is bringing us great fights. I think we have to appreciate it.
I've been saying this about Top Rank for last time we talked about networks. I said nobody messes with Uncle Al. Uncle Al is still the big boss in boxing. Okay, I told Leon Muhammad. Leon Muhammad also been saying that. Bob Arum's the big boss in boxing.
Okay. Well, we got to give props when we see great fights, and Top Rank seems like they're going to schedule great fights for the boxing world.
Yes.
But speaking of Uncle Al, I hope he's getting ready to open up his pocketbook. And his checkbook, because there's some problems. Mm-hmm. Lopez Kambosos. Okay, so due to multiple reports, Teofimo Lopez is not happy with his purse for the Kambosos fight. Originally, the fight was supposed to be in Australia, and it would have paid Lopez between $4 and $5 million, his highest purse, let's say. Right, guys? So, unfortunately, Lopez is not agreeing with his minimum, and his minimum right now is over $1.2, $1.3 million purse for Kambosos fight. Mm-hmm. So because he could not get an agreement, Lopez and Mr. Uncle Al, Bob Arum, say, right? Mr. Arum or Uncle Arum, right? Okay, this fight is going to go into a purse bid in a short amount of days. We're talking less than a week. There will be a purse bid for this fight. So now, Mr. Eddie Hearn has spoke out and he said something, and my attention is to Mr. Eddie Hearn, because as we see his pocketbook and his checkbook, it finds a way to be open.
Eddie Hearn is very smart because he knows he has the bank and he has the investors and a whole large network of his own. He's like, I look at a company, like, how Volvo was taken over by the Chinese company who has like a multi-billion-dollar company, and they just flood the company with billions of dollars. And they can do whatever they want. Eddie Hearn is taking that same blueprint with boxing because he has this big machine behind him. And he's like, you know what? I got Fury and Joshua. I got all these guys here. Okay? He's like, come to death row. You don't want to get,
it takes money to make money. And he has no problem putting the money up.
Right. So Eddie Hearn has said, Bob, be careful. If you're not going to take this fight. And Bob Arum has openly said that we offer Lopez his minimum and we double that. So according to Bob Arum, according to Bob Arum, he has said that, you know what, this is not even a big fight. He doesn't consider Lopez Kambosos a big fight. So he's basically saying, let the highest bidder win, and this fight could air somewhere else. Now, there's two networks I can see this fight happening on. It can happen on, of course, DAZN, which I think will put the subscribers at an all-time high. I think a lot of people would say, wow, Lopez Kambosos on DAZN.
Kambosos has a country behind him. Kambosos is bigger, can be bigger than what any of the Mundine brothers, any of them. Australia.
Right. And if I'm correct, Kambosos defeated Lee Selby on B2 Sports.
Yeah.
So people are sleeping on B2 Sports.
is B too big enough to get a Lopez and negotiate with that? I don't think they're big enough.
I think you make a good point. I think you're right, but with these purse bids, people that are not fully aware, and I had actually a few people write to me today, DM me and ask, how does the purse bid work? Can you break it down? And to the best of my ability, I broke it down. The highest bidder gets to select the venue, the date, what network it will air, and the purse is also involved. The champion gets a certain percentage, and the challenger gets a percentage. So I've seen it a lot. I've seen 70-30 in the past. I've seen 60-40 split.
See, Kambosos is an impressive fighter, and he's an up-and-coming prospect. Lopez is a champion. He beat the supposed pound-for-pound boxer in the world. I do feel it's a slap in the face. 1.2 million as a minimum. They had at least gave him 2.5 as a minimum. 2.5 for 3. I think Lopez is at that level when he can. I think he has a star power to do it.
Well, that's the thing. Lopez and Bob are not on the same page, and this will go to a purse bid in a few days. So,
hopefully Lopez gets what he wants, man. The guy's sitting on top right now.
Right. I mean, he's the top dog in that division, a stacked division. I think it's tricky. Does Bob want to pay or does he pass? And a guy like Eddie, the zone obviously his affiliation with the zone is a big input.
Maybe Bob's trying to buy time and
right
and call his bluff and just try to ride it out and just say like last minute, all right, take this, and he might just take it.
Right. So
politics and it's all a game.
Right. It could be a chess match.
Yeah.
Definitely could be a chess match. I would hope that Top Ranking ESPN would want this fight to be on TV, on their network. I think it sends the wrong message. It sends the wrong message, in my view, that Teofimo Lopez his fight is taken to a different network. It shows there's no backing. Where's the loyalty?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
That makes a lot of sense. Yes.
Right. So hopefully, we see the fight on Top Rank ESPN. If not, maybe the Zone picks it up. And then that might be the beginning of the end of Lopez, Bob Arum,
Make Lopez happy. Come on.
It's funny, like the Zone. The Zone is like the Lexus of of the boxing world. When Lexus came out like 1989, and all the German car company of Benz and BMW, they came, and then Lexus came and said, you know what? We're gonna give you 2 times more what you want for a little bit less.
Right.
That's their subscribers.
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna put more money in the product and charge less. And that's what Eddie Hearn's doing. He's got a lot more money, a lot more quality fights and big things too for the whole entire year. And now what they're gonna complain about him doing, just like Lexus, they're gonna complain about him cornering the market.
You know what's interesting though? I gotta say something, Nose Hunter.
Yeah.
Because earlier in the year we talked about what network had a better year. And I remember a lot of us over here, we said, oh, the Zone is last, right?
Yeah.
So now I got to start calling my own friends out,
Yeah.
I know. But listen, to me, it's starting to look like the Zone might have a great year this year.
They got Fury and Joshua negotiated.
Right.
And that's already almost signed, sealed. The contract, before the fight's going to be signed. So,
yeah.
And if Wilder comes back and fights one of them, where they probably going to fight on?
I think money talks.
Yeah.
I don't think they're gonna give Wilder what he wants. Those litigation stuff going on right now. Wilder's not gonna get what he wants.
No, they're gonna make him deal with everything that they want.
Right. I think it's a wait and see game as far as that Wilder whole situation.
Mm-hmm.
Only time would tell. But guys, I want to jump to the next subject, and this relates to Matchroom and the Zone. So, like I said last week, there was going to be a purse bid for the Andrade and Williams fight. Those who don't know, Boo Boo Andrade versus Liam Williams.
Mm-hmm.
There was a purse bid scheduled for later in the week. It's been canceled. It's been canceled because a deal has been reached.
Okay.
They avoided the purse bid, which I'm glad. I think both sides won. Liam Williams has said it on social media. A deal was reached. Eddie has said it, and Boo Boo Andrade has said it too. A deal was reached for April. This fight will happen in April. In the States.
Man, it's a good year, man. They're
like
up for last year's pandemic, man.
Yeah.
Nothing going on last year.
Definitely. I think this
They gotta make all that money back.
Well, I think the Zone we might have this conversation in September, October, November. The Zone might be number 1 this year. There's a chance.
They got Joshua Fury, and they're streaming on 2 networks. You got ESPN and then you got the Zone, and they're crossing. The Zone could, like I said, they could even expand even greater.
But we got a lot of fighters too that are not happy with, their promotions right now. So
Right.
who knows? Who knows who might switch over to the Zone 2 on top of that?
Yeah.
Plus, you got prospects coming up.
Then we got that Terrence Crawford situation.
Yeah. Who knows? We might
Terrence-
see Crawford at the
Right.
Zone.
According to multiple sources, Terrence Crawford's contract ends in October.
Oh, look at that.
So we could see Terrence fight one more time for Top Rank, and then he could be the highest paid free agent in boxing history, potentially.
I think so, because everybody's going to snatch him up. He's got 3 or 4, 5 networks that they're going to do a bunch of bids with him and purse bids with him.
I think if Terrence, I believe he has the money. I will hope so, that Terrence should be a free agent and dictate where he fights, when he fights.
Oh no, he's more than paid, Terrence Crawford. Nothing says anything about Terrence Crawford or anything money squandering. He seems like a guy that's very smart with his money. He reminds me of like Danny Garcia. Very simple life, man.
Right.
Still, does he still live in Nebraska?
Yes, he does.
He still lives in Nebraska, right? So it's not a really expensive state. The state's close to home. He's not a flashy guy. He's not a very talkative guy.
Big family guy.
Yeah,
Big on
he
family.
reminds me of kind of like how Danny Garcia moves.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's one of those guys that he can negotiate his terms. I don't think he needs to be signed by anybody because he puts on exciting fights. He's not the biggest talker, but you have managers for that.
Well, I think he can work his way up. It's never too late.
Mm-hmm.
But guys, as we go back to what we were talking about before, Andrade Williams, early breakdown of his fight. I think it's a great fight. I think a lot on the line right here.
Mm-hmm.
I think the winner of this gets in the sweepstakes of a Canelo.
Okay.
Yeah. Andrade, I think it could. I can see that, but that same thing about it is like I don't know what Canelo's the A side now. Now everybody got to get to the Mexican sweepstakes now.
Mexican sweepstakes.
Of course.
Get that Mexican lottery ticket.
Of course, but maybe Andrade knocks out Williams and he shows the world. Listen, I'm not just a jab fighter.
Yeah, I mean he does just a lot of
he's a technical fighter.
Technical, yeah.
You're gonna have to get behind Billy Joe and Caleb Plant, and that's gonna be a hard bid for all of them because they're just gonna be fighting to get the Canelo lottery ticket. They're gonna end up fighting each other.
Or we could see a potential fight. Andrade Williams winner could find a guy like Triple G, maybe in the future.
If Triple G stays.
Right. I mean, this fight Williams is going to be at 168, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, 168 is getting crowded. I don't see Golovkin really campaign there that long. I see him fouling out quietly.
Right. So, I'm hearing that this fight is going to be in Rhode Island, in Bubu Andrade's hometown. So that's the early speculation. Location, homecoming for Bubu Andrade again. And I definitely would like to be there. So I'm hoping that his fight is there.
Mm-hmm.
And AB Box News can give the boxing world live coverage, fresh interviews, and get back to the winning ways. Get back.
Might have to drive up there.
I think we might take a road trip. AB Boxing News.
I got the new Genesis. Got Roman back.
There we go.
Oh, there we go.
We out.
Right. All right, guys. But anyway, great. It'll be a great fight in April, and that ends the whole Matchroom, the Zone, breaking news and fight news. But I want to bring up the interesting news the last few days. So Mr. Charlo and Mr. Hurd, so through social media, I want to shout out Jared Hurd for liking my picture that I made of him and Charlo, and he acknowledged me, and I appreciate him. So he was in the hometown of Houston talking about, where does Charlo buy his food, his meat? I don't know if you guys seen the video.
Oh, wow.
It's hilarious. So he's literally walking in the shopping cart, walking to the store, and then Charlo seen the video, and Charlo being Charlo,
he rolled up.
He didn't roll up, but Charlo said, "What are you doing in my town?" I'm gonna keep the words clean.
All right.
Basically, you're in my town, copying me. You want to fight me? Let's do something.
That's a good fight.
Great fight.
That's gonna be a heated fight. Nothing about it. Like Hurd's probably gonna end up going up to 160. He has to. I mean,
this fight's
he
at
looks
154.
really big at
154.
154.
But I don't.
He looks really big at 154.
Oh yeah.
He walks around. I mean, yes. I'm a light heavyweight. Jared Hurd walks around the same size as me.
Yeah, 175, 180.
He's about 6 feet tall, maybe.
Yeah.
And he walks around 190, whatever it is.
Right.
I think he could go to 160.
Easy, very easy.
He needs to be at 160. I think that he'll perform better at 160.
Yeah.
Charlo, if he loses to Charlo, like in a bad fashion, I see him go up.
Well, his last fight was at a catchweight. I believe it was 158.
Of course it was.
Right, but we're talking right before the pandemic. He made his first return, new trainer since losing to J-Rock a year before.
That's what just my opinion about that. Like, I never was a big fan of that. Like, changing trainers when you take a loss. Like, you got to look at certain fact. Like, I think his loss to J-Rock too is that you got a guy that was that technical like J-Rock, and you weight drain so bad that I think it costs your performance. I think he needs to just go up to 160. He's big enough.
I think it's tricky. I think I was at the press conference when he fought when he was at Barclay, and he was on the co-main event of Danny Garcia and Red Catch, and he had said that there was a lot of problems leading up to that fight. So only him and his former trainer will know what really happened. So maybe there's more to the story that he didn't fully specify, but he's moved on, new trainer, and this is a fight that I'm hearing can happen, and there is a target date, May 28th.
Ooh, you could throw if he doesn't get the see and Hurd and Harrison going at it.
Right, I think the 154 division stacked. We have Tony Harrison. We have, of course, the champion Charlo. Patrick Teixeira fights this Saturday in the co-main event. He's a WBO champion, and then we have, we have Hurd. We have J-Rock.
Yeah.
Rosario that just lost his belt.
All of them too is that they all have losses and they're still ranked high. That's what I like about that division, because those dudes are just going to fight each other, and it's like they have nothing to lose.
You could put any matchup with any of those names.
Right.
You could throw all those names in a hat, pull out two names, and it'd be
and they won't fight each other.
Right. Yep. Honestly, no son of South Pomelo. I think they can make an actual pay-per-view of everybody at 154.
It'll be like a Super 6.
Yeah, they should.
I was just thinking about when the next Super Series should be.
I think
what weight division?
I think it should be
154.
I think at 154 we could throw 6 quick names in.
Yeah,
I would like Charlo Hurd main event.
Mm-hmm.
I would like J-Rock
and
Harrison.
Ooh, that'd be good.
Then I got to throw Lara in the mix.
And Lara Rosario.
Lara Rosario. Yeah, there you go. Damn.
There it is.
6, but like I said, we got a 168. But that's over dreaming, because those guys want too big of a person.
Yeah, I think 154. Most guys are on the Mr. Al Heyman network.
So that seems
doable. Yeah, Lubin is still in the mix.
Erickson Lubin definitely in the mix. He could be in. You see, we could just get a pay-per-view straight off that division. But anyway, hopefully time will tell. I'm hearing that that's a fight that they want to make, and I'm hoping that it's true. We're not sure yet, but hopefully that'll happen. Lastly, guys, Mr. Gary Russell Jr. is back, on social media and back talking.
Fastest hands in boxing.
Yep.
Fastest mouth too.
Good guy though. Good guy.
He's a good guy.
So I was, able to talk to Mr. Gary Russell Jr. in the past. Great guy, humble guy, and just overall, he says that. In his words, not mine. He says that there's a reason why he doesn't fight. He won't. Not that he won't, but it's a reason why the fight is not made between him and Tank Davis, Mr. Gervonta Davis. He says that there's a reason why. It's because if he fought Tank Davis, he will expose him. What do you guys think of those words?
I think he has a skill set to do it. I think he has the stamina to do it. I think he's got the hand speed to do it. I think that Gary Russell still is a little bit too little for Tank. Like I said, I was talking to Coach Mustafa. Shout out to Coach Mustafa Meekins, for those who know who he is. He had Tank in his gym in Atlanta. Tank was there last week. He pulled up in the, I think it was a Ferrari in the back. I know where the gym is. I've been there a few times. So I was just cracking up when I saw it. Tank's a pit bull. When you ask people that have held pads for Tank or been hit by him, man hits like a light heavyweight. If Gary Russell's ready to get hit and countered by a guy that hits that hard, we've seen his knockouts. Tank cannot be slept on. Don't go in there thinking you're going to expose him, because you think that he's one thing and he might play with you and then he might counter you with something serious. He's a very good counter puncher.
Hands behind the back, throw an uppercut from a weird ass angle.
Or just catch you with a straight left and put you out.
I know. I think, like I said, I think it'd be a great matchup, but unfortunately, I just don't see it happening. We all can dream and hope and wish. Mm-hmm. But guys, as we end another episode, Nose Hunter, last words.
Good year in boxing.
Southpaw Mello, last words.
I can't wait for the capacity to keep going up so we can get to these fights this year. I want to see some live fights.
Okay, lastly, me, I want to give rest in peace, Leon Spinks, who passed away.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, Leon Spinks. Made history. Definitely made history in boxing, and we want to wish him and his family the best. And rest in peace, King. And guys, as we end the show, I want to thank everybody. Nose Hunter, Southpaw Mello. I want to thank Bars and Hoops Radio for having us. I want to thank everybody on IG Live and just everybody that supports us. Check out our YouTube channel, AB Boxing News YouTube. Any questions, you can DM me at AB Boxing News. You could DM Southpaw Mello.
Southpaw Mello 26.
And the Nose Hunter team _warehouse _body _mechanics on Instagram.
Right, guys. And as we end our show, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. And next week we're going to break down the Mexican fight of the year, in my opinion. Miguel Berchelt versus Oscar Valdez, 12 rounds for Berchelt's WBC junior lightweight title. Until next week, guys. Also, we're going to break down the return of Adrian Broner on Showtime. Until next week, guys, take care.
Oh, that's good. Perfect. Non-shot. That's off. Perfect. All right.
Time that right. Perfect. Almost perfect.
Yeah, it was on nine. Wait, what was that?
Close. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm glad you guys went to the space. We're still doing improvements. So
It looks great. Looks great.
We got the couch, so people gonna bring certain guests to the
Yeah.
watch.
I gotta see. I might. This guy reached out to me from Team Wilder today.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see if he gets the okay. He hit me up and he was like, "Listen, Mark Breland, that rat needs to be exposed." That's what he told me, right?
You might be able to. You bring camera here. You might be able to get some fighters here. That's space.
Yeah. He told me. I agree. He told me that I might be able to get him to do an interview tomorrow with him. So we'll see.
Wilder, I know Mark. I met Mark Breland a few times. He came out talking to my coach.
I never met him before. How was he?
He's cool. He's quiet. I went to the Wilford Billionaires tribute, and then my coach met him with Mark Breland be this close and just talk to you. My coach is right from him when he started teaching group fitness class and people just started walking out. He's not a guy that has a lot of charisma. And when you talk to him, he just be whispering. I can see